Hello. Hello. I gotta take a cold capsule. Hello. Long time no see. I had like an hour of the TBR game second vlog edited, not even just filmed, edited, and I lost my access to the Adobe suite, and I'm not paying £40 a month, so I got exasperated with that. Then a bunch of stuff happened, and I started testosterone. I feel like maybe it would be a bit crazy to just sit down and be like, rah, 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 rah. That's what we're doing. Welcome. If you've not seen any of my stuff before, this is gonna sound stupid. I had a TBR spreadsheet going a while ago. Genuinely really helped me keep on track of what I was reading, where I was at with stuff coming in versus stuff going out, using a random number generator to pick what I was reading. I was getting through stuff I had not even thought about being on my shelves for ages, and I just got out of the habit of updating it. Every time I think about getting back into it, I feel daunted, so set up the camera as basically a body double thing, and we are gonna go through. Okay, here's my vague idea as to what's gonna happen. I'm gonna go through the spreadsheet. I'm gonna look at all the stuff on the spreadsheet that I've read, and then I'm gonna work out what I need to add out of the stuff I've bought or acquired over the last 5 months? Sorry. I've been thinking about sitting down and recording something for a while, but I have the flu, so I'm stuck at home. I cleaned the whole kitchen from top to bottom this afternoon, and I've run out of stuff to do, and I'm still not ready for bed, so sit down. It's actually not the flu. I shouldn't speak that into existence, but it might be. There's some super flu going around. I don't know if you've heard. Everybody's freaking out. People won't let me into their houses because I sound croaky. Though I did before. Testosterone fucks your shit up, man. I can't do Joni Mitchell anymore. My old man, he's a singer in the park. Do a bit Sinatra. Come fly with me, let's fly away. Anyway, yes, let's go spreadsheet stuff. I've had a medium run with reading recently. I've hit a lot of things that have been kind of okay. So I've gotten rid of a lot of stuff. I actually have made really good progress with keeping the books that I buy on my shelves. There is actually a little bit of space for new acquisitions to go straight on the shelf instead of on a pile on my floor, so that's big. I've also been acquiring stuff way slower recently, which has been such a relief. Though most of the stuff I have acquired has been kind of comics and stuff like that, and those I'm much less likely to get rid of, which is good in some way because I like the feeling of building a permanent collection of stuff rather than the things I own being very transient and being very willing to just get rid of stuff as the moment I'm done with it. I like having a collection of things that I'm going to revisit a lot. It does mean, however, that my graphic novel shelf is full, and that stuff is piling up on the top of the bookshelf, so at some point I might have to reevaluate where everything goes and how it's all stored. I've read a lot of stuff that was pretty good, a lot of stuff that I really liked but couldn't quite get into, and I think when I have a long period of not kind of hitting the jackpot with a book, I forget what reading such a good book is like, and then, just out of the blue, I looked at my shelf and I thought, I'll give that one a go, and I picked up Deacon King Kong by James McBride. Oh my god! You forget what it's like to read a book that makes you forget that there's a page in front of you until you read one. About 90 pages of this left, and I have been putting it off sick to my fucking stomach because I don't want it to be over. I love all of these characters so much. They're all so endearing. The turn of phrase he writes with is so good. I'm gonna have to read more James McBride. I didn't realize when I picked this up, this is the same guy that wrote The Heaven and Earth Grocery Store, which came out I think last year and did really well. I can see why it did really well if it's anything like this. I have been loving Deacon King Kong. So vibrant, so full of character, so full of life. But a Goodreads update that was like Wes Anderson would make the film of the century out of this book. And it's not necessarily that the characters behave like Wes Anderson characters, or even that I think the aesthetics would line up very well, but I watched The Phoenician Scheme in the summer, and that thought occurred to me when I was reading this book, because there's a part where there's a hitman trying desperately to kill someone, and he tries 3 or 4 times, and every time some disaster happens, like comically timed disaster happens, and this head honcho hitman like gets hit in the head with a baseball and has to be taken to hospital. I could see that in the style of like a Wes Anderson shot by shot. There's an element of a suspension of disbelief, but that's because the book is written in such an exuberant and unapologetic way. They're like, yeah, all of these people are fucking crazy, and what are you gonna do about it? I love it, I love it, I love it. Charming and endearing and so funny. This is kind of what motivated me to get back into things, because I was like, oh yeah, I was kind of like, oh yeah, I actually really like reading. That's one of my things. I love reading. Like, this is awesome. So, okay, let us pull up the spreadsheet. Oh shit, I gotta Google how to do a screen recording on a MacBook. Hold on. I feel like an old man. A couple months ago, I did make an attempt to update the spreadsheet, at least from where I'd left off in the last video. So I read Nona the Ninth, The Housekeeper and the Professor, The Lost Rainforests of Britain, Into the Wild, Heap Earth Upon It, You Weren't Meant to Be Human by Andrew Joseph White. Were called Pick a Colour by Suvan Kamthama Vongsa, and Love Me Tender by Constance Debray. I'm trying to remember anything in particular I wanted to say about any of these. There was nothing in this list that I didn't like. I enjoyed them all very much. I would say highlights were The Lost Rainforests of Britain. I mean, I was expecting to find it interesting, but it was also just super fun. I found an audiobook of it online, so I listened to that. Really, really great. I reread the whole Gideon the Ninth trilogy, or the Locked Tomb trilogy, whatever. I have such a soft spot for them. They are so cringe, they are so corny, and I love them for that. So fucking fun. There's a reference in, I think, the second book that I only twigged the second time reading, where God describes his life as none something with left grief, which on the face of it sounds like quite an interesting, profound statement, and it's a none pizza left beef reference. Who the fuck has said that in the last 10 years? I'm obsessed with Tamsin Muir. The Housekeeper and the Professor was very good, don't get me wrong, but so much about baseball and maths, and I have no interest in either of those things. So it was like listening to a friend who has a very niche interest talk for like 2 hours. I enjoyed myself immensely, but did I absorb much of the actual material information? No. It was okay. I wouldn't necessarily read it again, but I would recommend it. Into the Wild, oh my god. Into the Wild was so good. That book is so good, man. I have perennial fantasies of running away and being forgotten, and that book was very sobering, but also kind of inspiring. I mean, he died, I guess I shouldn't say that. Keep Earth Upon It by Chloe Michelle Howarth. Emotionally devastating. Chloe Michelle Howarth is just so good at writing visceral yearning. The new Andrew Joseph White is balls to the wall fucking crazy. I really liked it. I would always serve it with a disclaimer. Pick a Colour was really nice. Again, nothing, it wasn't incredible, but it wasn't trying to be, I don't think, and I appreciated it for what it was doing and what it was trying to do. I'm actually losing my voice. maybe I picked the wrong day to do this. Oh well. I still liked it though, and would recommend. Really beautiful slice of life, where you get a single day in the life of a woman who runs a nail salon. You get just glimmers of her personal life and her history, and you can build a full character profile of her, but at the same time, it's just a little insight into a random person's life. Love Me Tender, really, really good. So fucking bleak. I finished that book with a frown on my face. Constance Debray, God bless you, because that shit was that shit was rough. So I think out of these, I kept Nona the Ninth and Into the Wild. I lent Heap Earth Upon It and You Weren't Meant to Be Human to friends, and I gave the rest of them away. That's just an update as to where we are. In fact, you know what? We'll change the we'll change these while we're here. Boop. Okay, now we're going through the list on the right-hand side. Oh, I read Local Fires by Joshua Jones. I really liked it. I thought it was very good. I wanted like a little bit more out of it, but again, it's in a similar style to Pick a Colour. Small glimmers of other people's lives in a way that is not meant to make you feel like you totally inhabit that person's mind. So, very nice. I was left a little bit wanting, but I would be very, very excited to see what Joshua Jones puts out in the future. I DNF'd The Brief Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde. I believe this is my DNF. I haven't even labelled this as a table or anything. This is just my DNF corner. I failed to read Everything I Know About Love by Dolly Alderton as well. That one, when you read a book and you just know it's not for you. I'm sure Dolly Alderton, she seems like a lovely lady, but her stories of upper middle class cis-heteronormative self-discovery did nothing for me, and I thought the mac and cheese recipe was ludicrous. So I respectfully put that down after 50 pages and gave it away. The Brief Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde I did actually find really fun. I read the first 100 pages or so, but I wasn't super compelled by the story it was telling. The bit I got onto with looking at the mother's past, all about the dictatorship of Trujillo, or Trujillo. It's not Trujillo, but it's spelt like that. You know what I mean. Trujillo, I'm assuming. I should look it up. I won't. And I read The Cemetery of Untold Stories by Julia Alvarez a while ago, and that covers Trujillo's dictatorship from the perspective of his wife in such an interesting and very informative way that reading The Brief Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde felt like more of a recap of things I already knew in extensive, informative footnotes, and the content of the story wasn't interesting enough for me to bother slogging through that. Always a little bit dubious of a book written by a man in which every female character just so happens to be, like, drop dead, cars crash in the street when you walk past gorgeous, and then they talk about their, like, experience of sexuality and how they relate to other women. The way he described the relationship between the daughter and the mother. So I don't even know that it was bad. It just gave me a little twang of, do I want to read this? That was then reinforced by my not super gelling with the style of the writing. So, again, no bad feelings necessarily, but not for me. Maybe one day in the future if someone tells me, like, you fucked up, the third part totally justifies getting through the rest of it, then maybe I'll read it. But also, the title is The Brief Wondrous Life of Oscar Wilde, and by the time we left Oscar at page, like, 60, he's an adult. I was like, how brief is this life? When is he gonna die? I'm assuming that's what the book ends with, but there's another 200 pages of it. I don't know. I was not willing to invest enough time to finding out. Parted ways amicably with Junot Diaz. Amiably, amicably, whatever. It's all Greek to me. Let's get back to scrolling. We got down to here. Let's delete this row. I read The Dangers of Smoking in Bed. I quite liked it. I think it's been really, really overhyped to me. People talk about that book all the time. I will say I listed it on Vinted for £1.50 and I had a very battered secondhand copy and someone bought it straight away. And it wasn't bad, but miserable in a way that was really interesting in a couple of stories, and then in the others it was like, but what are you trying to generate out of this discussion? I wasn't really getting anything that felt worthwhile and generative out of those stories beyond being left with a bad taste in my mouth. Again, it's not necessarily a critique, it just, I was looking to this book for more than it had to offer me. I gave it away. I sold it. Got really into selling stuff on Vinted recently. I've made like £100, but 30 of those was a pair of Doc Martens that never fit me in the first place. And one of them was a design book called Designers Are Wankers that I bought from a charity shop for £3 and just thought, I never got around to reading it, it's too big, get rid of it. Looked it up online, £60 on World of Books. And now, I'm an opportunist, but I'm no scam artist. I listed it for retail price, £20. And someone bought it straight up. I made £20 off that book. What the hell? I unhauled Kaikei by Vaishnavi Patel. I just looked at it and realized it's huge. It's a very wide paperback and I don't really have any immediate desire or intention to read it. And if I ever did, I would probably borrow it from a library, so I sold that. I just read The Last Children of Tokyo by Yoko Tawada. I really liked it. I really liked it. I thought it was really good. I saw a lot of reviews that were like, I wanted so much more elaboration on the story, but I actually really liked the mundane exploration of these people's everyday lives in what is like a almost like a post-Fallout, like some kind of natural disaster has happened that has made the earth poisoned, and humanity is rapidly adapting both geographically and politically to survive with what meager resources are left and are attainable. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on in that book that is really interesting, but you're reading from the perspective of like a 108-year-old man taking care of his very, very sickly great-grandson. So he is quite interested in the politics surrounding him, but he's so fixated on trying to help his grandson, his great-grandson, survive, that everything kind of falls to the wayside. He's peripherally aware of the political goings-on around him and the corruption that is slowly eking away at their lives, but his laser focus on his great-grandson I thought was very beautiful and a really interesting way of interacting with like a dystopian landscape. So I really liked The Last Children of Tokyo. I did sell it because I didn't see myself rereading it anytime soon, but I'd be open to borrowing it from a library. I DNF'd, and now I read 200 pages of it, so it feels a little bit of a disservice to call it a flat-out DNF for me. But there was another 100 or so pages left of the book, and the first 100 pages were so good, the second chunk of 100 pages was exactly the same in tone and content as the first 100 pages, and I was starting to get really fucking bummed out. And I thought, this isn't going to improve. I really don't see this getting better, and I'm just feeling tired. I'm sick of this guy. He will do nothing to help himself. He's going to get rinsed by debt collectors. I don't want to read that. I know too many people in my life who are in this exact situation pretty much, and I don't want to hear about it. So I put that one down. I threw in the towel. I will say, worth a read if the synopsis sounds good to you, but just beware that it does go on like that. If you start the book and think, this is really fun, I hope the rest of the book isn't like this. It is. I feel like I need to get back on my non-fiction thing. I was doing well during the summer, I feel. By that I mean I was reading like one non-fiction book a month or two. I have unhauled How to Art. It's not by David Shrigley, it's by the woman who actually wrote it, but I got it for the David Shrigley illustrations, and then the proof copy I got, they were all in black and white, and then I realised I'm not going to read this. Oh my god. Did the recording cancel? I stopped recording the spreadsheet for like most of that. That sucks. You're just gonna have to take my word for it. Let me double check that let me double check that there's nothing else in here that we need to take out. I'd say this is where we're at. This is the DNF column. This is the red column. And this is the physical TBR, which currently stands at 161. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up Goodreads to check what I've read recently, because I know there was stuff coming in. And just for the sake of completion, there have been some proofs that I got that I read immediately. I know I read Dilf by Jude Doyle. Oh crap. And that was an easy 5 out of 5. I kept that, but it is currently with a friend who is going to read it. I genuinely do have to go into my like Goodreads recently read to remember what the fuck I've read. Is that not... It feels not great. Oh my god! Yeah, I read Jackson Alone by Jose Ando. This was batshit crazy. I thought it was actually quite bad. It feels terrible because the prose was really interesting and the concept was really interesting, but that execution... I described this book, and there's a weird devolution into like magical realism right at the end that sounds like it should be really good, and then none of it worked at all in the actual text. So weird. Quite enjoyed it because I read it in a single evening. It didn't take up a lot of time, but it was so bizarre. You Glow in the Dark. This one I did quite like. There were 2 stories in this collection that I really, really liked, and then the others were okay. First bit of Bolivian fiction I've ever read. The cover is stunning. I sold my copy. I'm really fucking broke right now. I might have kept it just because it's so beautiful, but I don't really have the means to be doing stuff like that right now. Anything I can sell, I will. Yeah, I also read... This is like stuff that I own and have read. So this is like a log of like the physical comings and goings of my book collection and stuff. So stuff that I read elsewhere, online, or from the library, or borrowing from someone. I'm not gonna log. I read Portrait of a Thief by C.D. Lee. Didn't have a physical copy, thank God, because I hated that book. Wow. Did not know it was possible for me to be that vitriolic about a book still. I thought I'd mellowed out. That shit set me off. But I did buy and then read and then keep Meat for Burgers. Burgatory. Which is a comic self-published by, what were the artists' names? Beck Kubrick. I really liked it. I thought I wanted more from the world and the story, but it was like a self-published and ongoing project. This is just a volume of the project, which made it make a lot more sense to me, and I actually really ended up enjoying it a lot. Super easy, quick, fun read. Enjoyed very much. Oh yeah, I also read The Call of the Friend, a graphic novelization of some of the works by H.P. Lovecraft. Really, really excited by the concept of the line of books. There's going to be several, I think 3 are published currently, all by different artists, all adapted in different ways. Just taking key iconography from the work of H.P. Lovecraft and adapting it for like a modern audience. This one, The Call of the Friend, I didn't really enjoy very much. Some of the horror illustrations were really, really, really good, but overall the art felt very disjointed and kind of the world around the characters was insufficiently rendered, so it just felt like 2 characters kind of circling around each other in a white void. The writing was very disjointed. I don't know if that's a translation issue, but I got a vague sense of what was going on, but then I read the artist and author's description of what they were trying to do, and I was like, wow, I did not get that at all. That's not a critique necessarily, it's probably a translation thing, but I didn't get a lot out of this one, unfortunately. Oh, my screen went to sleep while I was talking for so long. That's why the thing cut. Anyway, that keeps us updated on the comings and goings. No, it keeps us updated on the goings. It does not update us on the comings. This is the point at which I need to put my thinking cap on, because I have to remember what I've bought over the past few months. Oh my god. Looking immediately under the camera, which is on a stack of books. I'm gonna put you on my 2 chocolate advent calendars. Hopefully it's not really high enough. I've got it. No, oh wait. I didn't put Don Quixote back under you. Perfect, that's much better. In fact, that might even be better than before, though you can't see Moomin anymore. There he is. I got Bone Broth by Alex Taylor. I got A Common Treasury Issue 1, which is an independent newspaper published by the Black Lodge Press. I went to their pop-up, I bought a scarf. I'm obsessed with that scarf. I dropped it in the road earlier today, and I ran back like a quarter-mile trying to find it, because I realized it wasn't around my neck, and my heart sank. I was so ill. I was hauling a bunch of shit back from the supermarket. I was like, I don't want to have to go back, and I did, and thank God I did, because there she was, in the gutter. So I have those 2. Bone Broth, I've had on pre-order for like a year, because this won the first graphic novel award like a year ago and hadn't been published yet. As you can see, I've not even opened it yet. I've not cracked the plastic, but I will soon. That's going on the list. I cancelled a bunch of my sort of subscriptions to stuff because I ran out of money. That is the long and short of it. I ran out of money. My last copy of Paper Rag magazine came in not too long ago. October 2025. So anything between the last ones I logged and October, I have to add to the list. I know there's a couple on my desk somewhere, but everything's such a mess. Sorry, I won't show you my address on this envelope, but at the top someone's handwritten, please deliver this to the correct address. Oh my god, this is beautiful. Oh, sorry. Oh, that's so cool. It was on the 13th of December, I've already missed it. This is Sticky Fingers number 67, so anything that came before 67, I also have to add to the list. I've got number 66 here as well. Let's have a look at the bookshelf. I will film the shelf so you can see what we're dealing with, because I have to just think, well, can you see my mustache? Tell me you can see it, please. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. This is my unread shelf. As you can see, there's even a little space up there. Wow. This is my read shelf. It's getting pretty stuffed. There's a library book on there I've had out for over 6 months. They're gonna start coming to my house soon. And there's the graphic novel shelf. All of this is new. But I'm gonna go through and see what's not on the list. Oh! Shit. These aren't gonna fit neatly anywhere on this pile, so I'm just gonna hold them to the side. Thumbnail! This is all the stuff I've acquired. As you can see, there's a lot of unusual formats, which is kind of fun. I feel like that reflects my shifting focus from like acquiring as much to read as possible to like curating the things I buy. Because honestly, this over like 6 months for me is really good. There's been stuff coming in and going out during that time, obviously, but this being the stuff I've kept of all of the stuff that's come in, it feels kind of like progress to me. Let me go by these one by one, starting with these impractical ones so I can fling them on the bed behind me. Oh, you can't see, I'm letting Moomin take care of my stuff over there. So this is actually my most recent acquisition. I bought this week. Last week, technically. Friday of last week. It's Monday. That's last week, okay? So far I'm doing very well this week, thank you. It's Monday and I've not been anywhere. In the Darkness of the Night by Bruno Munari. It is in 3 sections on different styles of paper. This originally retailed for $25.99. It was down to $9.99 and then I got it for half price, so it was £5, this bad boy. But it is an exploration, first on black paper, then on tracing paper, so you can see like impressions of the next few things, and the idea is that you're moving through a meadow. And these black paper ones, there's always a little spot of light, which is a hole punched cutout. I don't know if we're going to be able to show that. There we go. So that you could hold it up and see the light shining through the actual page, not just with the yellow dot. Can't help myself. I need to own this. I haven't read it in its entirety. It's also very hard to see in this lighting. I haven't read it from cover to cover. Hanging on to that. That will be going on the spreadsheet. Next, I got from an Oxfam bookshop 2 Drawn and Quarterly picture story books. Found these in a charity shop for like £3 each. And I've never read anything published by Drawn and Quarterly that wasn't like a standalone. These are like anthologies, sort of like newspaper periodicals. So I'm really excited to see what these have in store. Lucky Jim by Kingsley Amis. I got this for free. There's a shop in the shopping centre I work at. Work in a bookshop in a shopping centre, and then they opened a free bookshop literally opposite us, which felt like a bit of a slap in the face, but I did get a lovely Quentin Blake illustration on the cover, Kingsley Amis, and I've never read any Kingsley Amis before, so very excited to have that on the shelf. The Mabinogion. Now, I already have a copy of the Mabinogion, but look at this edition, and look at this cover. How could I say no for £3? You've got yourself a deal. Fortunately, I did buy it. Oh well. Judge me all you want, because we've got another one coming up. Vile Bodies by Evelyn Waugh. Now, I have never read this book before. I have Decline and Fall on my shelves as well that I've never got around to. Is that Edith Wharton? I think I've conflated those two in my head. I think it is Evelyn Waugh. I don't know, but I love this cover. It's so Art Deco. A lovely, lovely, delightful purchase. I think all of those are from Oxfam bookshops apart from the one I got for free. Virginia Woolf's The Waves. This one has water damage on it, so someone bought it as a return and we were going to write it off and I got it for free. So there's The Waves by Virginia Woolf. It matches the edition of Orlando that I have, and I loved Orlando when I read it in the summer. So very, very excited for that one. Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad. Now, I collect these editions. These are like, they were supposed to be like eco-friendly pocket classics that Penguin published, made out of 100% recycled paper. That's why they're green. I just really like them. I don't really know why, apart from that the format is really small and cute. I have this one, I've got a Shakespeare, Grimm's Fairy Tales. So anytime I see one of these in a charity shop, and for £1, who am I to say no? I snap it up. So you can see how it's not that I'm not acquiring stuff, but there's a collection element to it that feels curated rather than sporadic, which I like. To spoil that horrendously, Queering Wolverine in Comics and Fan Fiction by Christopher Michael Roman. This is someone's thesis, I think, and when I was Googling stuff to reference in my dissertation, I I was going through a Wolverine phase, so I put queer Wolverine into an online database and this book popped up. There was no digital copies that I could find. I couldn't find a PDF, I couldn't find anything to download. I couldn't even find an online archive. Only option was ordering it online, so I did! Fucking sue me. Sorry. How was I not supposed to have this in my life? That's literally me. I'm literally the Wolverine if he was like a little gay boy. So I'm literally the Wolverine. Portrait of the Alcoholic by Kaveh Akbar. I am obsessed with Kaveh Akbar, and this was one of his first poetry anthologies. This is like a little chapbook. It's very small, very slim, very large. A friend of a friend wanted to buy some stuff online, and in order to get me up to free shipping, I added a bunch of stuff that I've been looking at for ages. So that's why I bought those two. Wandering Stars by Tommy Orange. I don't think I've added this to the spreadsheet though. I did buy it a while ago. I bought it in Edinburgh! When I went to Edinburgh in the summer. It was so freaking awesome. But I bought this, I think just because I like this cover a lot more than I like the cover of There There. It's entirely a colour scheme thing. In my head, this was the one you're supposed to read first, and it's actually technically like a sequel. You don't have to read them one after another, but I'm a completionist, so I probably won't read this until I read There There. So this was maybe a little bit of a dud purchase, but I got it from Edinburgh, and that's the important thing. Oh, I got a proof of Hal's Heart by Alexis Hall. Alexis Hall wrote the book, I believe it's Boyfriend Material, and it was like a red, white, and royal blue ripoff from way back in the day. And this is a queer space opera retelling of Moby Dick. How was I supposed to not? So I got this for free. It's an advanced copy. This comes out in January, I think. Oh, March! Wow, this is very advanced. Shh, don't tell anyone I have this. I'm very excited to get around to it, but I'll probably read it a bit closer to the release date, so it's going to stay on the back burner for a while. Ginormous. Always friggin' massive, the stuff I don't intend to read straight away. Stop All the Clocks by W.H. Auden. I got this for free as well. I have a couple of teeny-weeny poetry collections in this series, and I've never read any Auden before, so I thought I'd read it. It looks like I'm reading it because there's a bookmark in it. The bookmark's in on page 1. Really, really lovely end page illustrations on this one as well, I feel the need to mention. Whoever designs for Faber, I want your job, and I want to get married to you. One Aladdin, Two Lamps by Jeanette Winterson. This is on my very soon to read list. I'm very, very excited to read this one. It's like semi-fiction, semi-memoir in a way that only Jeanette Winterson can get away with and make me not hate her. Jeanette Winterson could put out fucking a transcript of her own farts and I would read it and I'd be like, that was fucking awesome. So very, very excited for that one. And then we've got a few really, really interesting comics. We have Red Knight by Hanawa Kazuichi, that's it, which is published by Breakdown Press, who I am forever in love with. These are underground Japanese comics that were released in a kind of publishing flight by Breakdown Press, along with Ding Dong Circus by Sasaki Maki. I'm kind of more inclined to like get into these. They're a little bit splodgy, a little bit more fun. This is The Pits of Hell by Ebisu Yoshikazu. Ebisu Yoshikazu was like a real pioneer of like the Heta-uma Japanese underground comic manga scene. Oh, just and these editions are so cool, so beautiful. Everything, like the design treatments they do at Breakdown Press, I just another Yoshikazu, I Wish I Was Stupid. This one, love the illustration on the back of like the office book. Kind of gross out, I say poorly drawn, but it's like a very intentional style, so don't take that as me being demeaning. It's all about resisting the confinements of like perfection. Now, a family friend gave me this because she wrote one of the sections, so to say I acquired this intentionally would be sort of deceiving, but it's such a cool thing to have. I have The Feminist Companion on Mythology. To Mythology, sorry, my bad. Essays and writing on reading feminism into existing mythology in different regions. So the Near East, European, Asia, Oceania, America, and then goddesses in the 20th century. It's like a compendium of feminist writing on the classics, I mean, you know what I mean. The kind of thing I'd probably dip into over time rather than reading it in one go. So I don't know whether to add it to the TBR spreadsheet or not, because if I rolled it on a randomizer, I don't know what the fuck I'd do. But maybe that's like a fun thing to work out when we get there. Let's... Put that, I just squashed Moomin. That is everything I have acquired. Let's cut to a montage of me epically and awesomely adding that all to the spreadsheet. That's all of it away. Damn! That brings us back up to speed with everything. Don't know if there's anything else I want to say. I really like making videos. Just for fun, really. It feels like talking is the void. It's super fun. I love yapping about books. Then I forget how much I like yapping about books, and then I yap about books for a bit, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is what it's all about. Hopefully, I will be back up and running. I have to learn how to use DaVinci Resolve, so this video might suck. And it might never go out at all. I guess if you're seeing this, thanks. Not only did you find this video and click on it, but you watched the whole thing. Ew. Go away. This is my room. Anyway, I made these Christmas cards of my cat. Look at this. Merry Christmas.